Europeans who visited the USA, what's the most American thing you saw? I'm from Germany. Visited Texas last year to see my cousin, who married an American guy. They live in a small town outside Houston. First night there, my cousin's husband Mike took me to something called a high school football game. I thought it would be like 50 people watching kids play, maybe some parents in the stands. We pulled up to the school and there were thousands of people. The parking lot was completely full. People were tailgating like it was a professional match. Grills everywhere, families in matching shirts, kids running around with foam fingers. I asked Mike if this was a championship game or something special. He laughed and said, no, it's just a regular Friday night. This happens every week. The stadium held 8,000 people for a high school. It was nicer than some professional stadiums I've been to in Europe. Giant scoreboard, perfect grass, lights that could be seen from space. The student section was packed. Everyone knew these complicated cheers. The band had maybe 200 kids in it. They played between every single play. There were cheerleaders and dancers and people in mascot costumes. I sat down next to this older guy named Roy. He looked about 70, wore a jacket with the school logo on it. I asked him if he had a grandkid playing. He said no. His kids graduated 30 years ago. His grandkids go to school 2 towns over. So why was he here? He came to every home game, had season tickets for 40 years, just loved watching the kids play. The whole town was there. The mayor sat 3 rows behind us. I saw police officers, teachers, the guy who ran the hardware store. The woman who owned the diner brought nachos. At halftime, they announced some kid named Tyler won a scholarship. The whole stadium stood up and cheered for 5 minutes. People were crying. His mom was sobbing in the stands. Strangers were hugging her. After the game, which the home team won, everyone stayed. Nobody rushed to leave. People stood around talking in the parking lot for another hour. Kids were still in their uniforms taking pictures with little kids who looked up to them like they were celebrities. Mike introduced me to the quarterback, a 17-year-old kid named Brett. This kid had a full scholarship to play college football. He was polite, called me sir, shook my hand firmly. His dad stood next to him, beaming with pride. We went to the diner after. It was packed. Everyone was still talking about the game, replaying moments, arguing about calls, planning for next week. The waitress, Lisa, knew everyone by name, knew their usual orders, asked about people's families. When she brought our food, she sat down at our table for 10 minutes just to chat. Her shift wasn't over. She just wanted to talk. I ordered a regular Coke. She brought me something the size of a small bucket. Ice everywhere. Free refills. When I finished it, she brought another without asking. An old man at the counter was telling a story about the 1987 championship team. Everyone was listening. People jumped in with their own memories. Some of these people weren't even born in 1987, but they knew the stories by heart. The cook came out from the kitchen to argue about whether the current team was better than the 2003 team. This turned into a 20-minute debate involving half the restaurant. Everyone had opinions. Everyone was passionate, but everyone was laughing. I asked Mike how much the meal would cost. He said about $8 for a massive burger, fries that could feed 3 people, and unlimited drinks. I thought he was joking. When we left, people were still in the parking lot, just standing around talking. It was nearly midnight. These people had work in the morning. Their kids had school, but nobody wanted to leave. On the drive home, Mike told me the school had raised $2 million in donations last year. Not from some rich alumni, from regular people in town. Teachers who donated part of their salary, families who could barely afford it giving $20 a month, small businesses sponsoring equipment, all for high school football. Not even the best team in the state, just their team, their kids, their town. I thought about football back home. Professional matches where people sit quietly, leave at the final whistle, never speak to the person next to them. This wasn't about football, it was about something bigger. A whole community coming together every Friday night, generations of families sharing the same experience, everyone knowing everyone, caring about the same things. I went to 3 more games before I flew home. The team lost 2 of them, didn't matter. The stadium was still packed. People still stayed after. The diner was still full. My last night in Texas, Roy invited me to sit with his group, treated me like I'd lived there my whole life, explained the plays, shared his popcorn, introduced me to 30 people who all welcomed me like family. When I got back to Germany, people asked me about my trip. What did I see? The Grand Canyon? New York? Hollywood? I told them about Friday night lights in small town Texas. Nobody understood. How could I explain that the most American thing I saw was 8,000 people showing up every week to watch teenagers play football like it was the most important thing in the world? Because in that town, maybe it was.